What's going on, guys? Matt in the Hat, Keller Williams Diamond Partners. You are tuned in to the Hot List. In the Hot List, we discuss properties listed by my brokerage or that I have listed for sale, and I answer a question of the week that is submitted by you, the listeners. Uh, this is episode number 268. I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Realty, and I greatly appreciate you taking the time, joining me, hanging out for a few minutes, and submitting your questions. And just a reminder, I do now have a form for you to submit your question of the week. So if there is a question that you have about real estate, you're not sure where to start, I would love to be the real estate resource that you reach out to, you start with, and get that question answered. Because if you have that question, others will have that question as well. And this allows me to not only answer that question for you to get you an answer and kind of a place to start and springboard. This also gives me a chance to create future episodes just like this one. So please make sure you keep those questions coming. And just a reminder, that link that you can fill out the some more form and submit it to me is down below. So today's question of the week is one that is pretty common, and I get quite a bit from both buyers and sellers. And that question is, why is moving so expensive, or how can I save money? So today we're going to focus more on the how I can save money part of it versus why is it expensive? And let's face it, moving can be exciting. It can also be stressful as well as expensive. I mean, you have to find time to do it. You've got to find the energy to box everything up, carry it out, load it up, just to unload it, unbox it, and place it where you can find room for it. And that's just if you do it yourself, and don't have it hired out or contracted out. And no matter which way you do it, the cost can add up quickly, uh, along with your stress level. Luckily, there are some things that you can do to kind of streamline the whole moving process and hopefully reduce your stress level a little bit as well. Once you know you're going to move, or the process has started, whether you're buying a house and you're looking at houses, or you are looking at selling your house, buying another one, it's never too early to start packaging and boxing some things up. I would also recommend creating a checklist. This is a good place to start because it gives you an idea of what needs to be done, what order to do things, and ways to adjust if needed. So, in order to answer this week's question, how can I save money when moving? We're actually going to get into 10 tips to save money when moving. So make sure that you like this, you share this out, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought of it. If you have friends or family, maybe coworkers that are moving, somebody from church, whatever the case is, make sure you send this to them. And maybe this can help them either create a list or get an idea of something that maybe they have forgotten or didn't think about altogether. So I appreciate that. If you could share this out, tag somebody, like, subscribe, and let's get into it. Number one, starting off, estimate the cost. Now there are online moving calculators, and this is a great place to start because this could give you an idea of what costs you can expect over the moving process, uh, and what your move might look like financially. Starting here before reaching out to moving companies is a good place, because once you start calling for quotes, you may not know, is that a good price? Is that a high price? So starting with those online calculators and knowing how much a move might might cost you helps prevent you from overpaying or overspending by choosing a bid that might otherwise, or unbeknownst to you, be way too high. Also, I know that your new house is going to be great and you're excited to move in. I get that 100%. All of my buyers are always excited to move in. What they also tend to do is overspend by purchasing items for the new house and then end up not needing them or having duplicates because they forgot that they are packed up and they're just in a box somewhere. I would recommend move in, settle in, then look at purchasing articles needed for the house. Number two, consider moving yourself. Like many of us think, myself included, moving can be a large financial burden on you as well as your family. I would recommend taking some time to consider all of your options. Don't rush into this. You're going to have plenty of time. And if saving money is important, or maybe hiring out isn't an option, look at renting some type of moving vehicle. Well, whether it's a moving truck, or a couple, maybe you have friends with trucks and you just need to rent some trailers. Look at renting some of those and doing it yourself. If nothing else, it's worth looking into the prices and doing a cost comparison of, you know, maybe you want to do a 10-foot box truck and make multiple trips versus a 26-foot box truck and make as few trips as possible. And this is going to give you a better idea of what this is going to tie back into number one, give you a better idea of what it may cost and what or where you could save money on. And maybe you're moving long distance, or you have some belongings that are heavier or valuable and you're not comfortable lifting those. This is the part where you could definitely consider hiring a moving service. And you may also find out who your true friends are once moving day comes. Like I mentioned, if you have a couple friends that have trucks, SUVs, and you can just rent a couple trailers instead of a moving truck, this is really going to this is the time you'll really find out who your friends are. Lastly, look into tax deductible expenses or reimbursement. For example, people that are in the military can often get reimbursed, or moving expenses are tax deductible. When I moved back from Fort Bragg to Kansas, yes, it was a long drive, but I rented a moving truck and I just did it myself and stopped along the way and, drove from North Carolina to Kansas. You can make a vacation out of it. But look into some of those moving expenses. See how many of them are tax deductible. Or maybe you're relocating out of state because of a new job. If that's the case, ask your company if they pay for moving costs or they offer some type of compensation for relocating. That's always worth asking, and just see what they have, what they offer. Number three, avoid buying supplies. This, I think, is one of the most common areas people start is, they just, I've got to have boxes. I've got to have paper. I've got to have bubble wrap. I've got to have tape. I've got to buy moving blankets and on and on. And those costs are going to add up really quickly. You can down on these by getting creative with sourcing items that you already have in your house. For example, maybe you have newspapers, blankets, sheets, towels, socks, suitcases. All of these items can help protect fragile items or valuable items that you're going to be moving, and that's going to help protect along the way. Once you know you are going to start moving, look at saving boxes and just breaking them down to store them. They're going to take up less space if you break them down, and then when you need them, all you have to do is put them back together, retape them, you're good to go. Also, don't be afraid to ask family or friends or maybe even neighbors that might have moved recently, see if they still have some old some of the boxes or bubble wrap that they used when they moved. For example, when we moved, we hit up retail stores and grocery stores asking them for boxes. They're just going to either break them down or discard them and recycle them anyways. They're not out anything. So it doesn't matter to them that instead of having to take the time to break down some boxes, they can just give them to you and go do something else. So consider that as well. Number 4, declutter. This is a huge one. If you're out of ideas for, family time or something to do as a family, why not declutter, right? Well, you can actually make this a family project because it gives your children an idea of how much stuff is actually in their room, how many toys they have in either their bedroom, their playroom, the basement, the garage, and items that they really don't use anymore or may not need. Consider donating those items and teach them about donating and giving versus just packing all those up and moving a lot of unnecessary toys or items. Another popular way to kind of declutter is host a garage sale, whether it's an actual garage sale or you post on social media, which I mean, I know garage sales are kind of becoming a thing of the past because of social media, but it still applies. Maybe you have a neighborhood garage sale, a church garage sale coming up. Look at doing something like that. And if garage sales aren't your thing, how many buy sell pages are there on Facebook in your area? I guarantee there is a ton of them. You can upload them there, set up times to meet and unload these items. No matter which way you go, this is going to be a great way to declutter and rid out a lot of items that you may not use, don't need anymore, and earn a little extra money along the way. And also, just kind of a little extra tidbit here, by decluttering and ridding out some of these items, this is also going to decrease the amount of trips that you're going to need, not just back and forth to the truck, but overall trips from one house to the next. And that could help lower the cost of moving as well. Number 5 is something I don't think people take into account or think about, and that's having a plan B. While you can try to prepare for everything that you're going to run into, I guarantee there are going to be some hiccups along the way, whether it's in your actual move, whether it's in your timeline, something is going to happen to delay something. So having a backup plan in place could save you money in the long run. For example, I have a set of buyers right now. They're closing on one property and getting ready to move to the other, but there is a week difference from the house that they're moving out of to the house that they're moving into. And what they have done is made arrangements to stay with family to help reduce hotel costs and fees. And yes, they are essentially going to have to move twice, but by making those arrangements, they know they are going to have to move a lot of their items. Many of their items, they are going to leave packed up because they have created necessity boxes. And those are boxes of clothes, toiletries, and everything that is needed that's going to get them through that week from the time they move out until the time they move in. Now, maybe if you're moving long distance, look at choosing a company that specifically moves long distance instead of just in town. Generally, they have some type of flexible options, like not charging a fee for some type of change short notice. So look into that as well. Number 6, the one thing we all tend to do, don't choose the lowest bidder mover. I know we all want to save money. That's what this whole episode is about. However, this company is going to be responsible for safely and successfully transporting your belongings. For that reason, I would not recommend choosing the lowest bidder or lowest quote that you got from the company. Choosing the lowest cost could actually cost more in the long run, because a lower cost or a lower quote may indicate low quality of work, meaning items may show up broken or damaged, or maybe lack of time management, and your belongings are going to show up late and you have to replace those items. Either way, it could potentially cost you more replacing or repairing items from the lowest quote that you choose. And when searching for a moving company, ask if they have a fixed rate. This is going to ensure you are not charged per hour in case something happens and the move takes a little bit longer than what was expected. Also, ask questions to understand how their rates work and how their charges work as well. This could help you avoid extra fees in the long run. Number 7 is pack strategically. Pack in a way that utilizes fewer boxes. This is going to save you space, time, and money. Also, measure furniture. Like I mentioned, getting a 10-foot box truck versus a 26-foot box truck. If you get that 10-foot box truck, are you going to be able to get your couch or sectional in there? And on the other end of that, by measuring your furniture, you're going to know if you're going to be able to get that couch or sectional through the door or even in the basement. As an example, we did not do this when we moved into our house. And so the couches that we bought for the basement for the kids area to kind of hang out, they didn't fit through the door or down the stairs because of how it was laid out, which means we moved those couches for no reason. So I would caution that as well, and be mindful of how you're packing. And this could allow more items to fit into boxes. you can condense the number of boxes that you move, which again translates into a potentially smaller truck or trailer and potentially save you money. Number 8 is more for larger cities or long distance moves, and that is cancel your utilities. This way, you don't have to worry about timing your shut off perfectly, or maybe get stuck paying your cable or internet bill in two places. So consider canceling and turning off your utilities in your current house and starting fresh in the new house. Oftentimes, cable and internet providers offer specials or discounts to open accounts anyways, which creates an opportunity to shop around for the best deal that you can find. Some may even waive activation fees or installation fees just for signing up and starting service with them. So look into that as well. Number 9, ask for a deal. It may seem odd, but it's not uncommon for moving companies to be willing to cut you a deal. It's always worth asking. Worst they can say is no. So shop around, and this can really pay off and save you money because you can see what deals different movers offer. Of course, again, this could go back to what type of move you're doing, whether it's short distance, long distance, but ask them if they will meet or beat a certain price or a better deal. Again, worst thing they're going to say is no, and you can call somebody else and get another quote. And finally, that brings us to number 10, utilize media mail. Now, this was something that I learned about doing research, which was kind of a rabbit hole all of itself. But items such as books, catalogs, magazines, these are often heavy and bulky boxes, and they make it difficult to pack and move because you put so many books in a box, it's either going to be heavy, you have to worry about the bottom falling out. So the US Postal Service offers media mail shipping, and this is an easy and cost-effective way to ship items like books. For example, media mail shipping allows about 70 pounds of books to ship around $40. So that is a great way to free up space in the moving truck, not have to carry up, potentially carry up books from your basement or from second story rooms. And it's going to free up some space, allow for other items to be packed in the truck, and you're not having to lift all those. So there they are. Those are 10 tips to save money when moving. I really hope this helps, and if nothing else, gives y'all a place to start and maybe even plan. And I'm curious. I would love to know, have y'all tried any of these? Maybe you've tried all of these or knew about a lot of these. Also, don't forget that in the details section, there is now the link to the question of the week form. So if you have a question about real estate, not sure where to start, again, I would love to be the real estate resource you use to start with, and I will answer that question for you. And then hopefully I'm able to use that for future content and videos. And one last favor that I would ask of y'all, please leave me a review on iTunes and Spotify. That helps the algorithm, helps get me in front of more listeners like you. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe. These videos do come out weekly at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. And that just really, really helps me get in front of more people, potentially help more people by getting in front of them and getting their questions answered. So that is going to wrap it up for episode number 268. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, I am your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Realty. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Y'all have a great week. I'll see you next week. Take care.